Hey guys, welcome back. Yasin here. Let's jump into some new watch list. I got quite a few stocks. Let's jump on them real quick. I'm just looking at the IWM. Usually, I won't pay attention too much to the indexes as long as the stocks, the core position that I'm holding, they're not cracking. The leaders are not cracking. Even though last week when I talked about my vision on the market and what was happening, and I was expecting actually some weaker price action, and I was looking at this pivot point right at this resistance. I was hoping for some bouncing back. That's what I was expecting, but the market reversed quickly, and all the indexes plus other leaders that did not crack as much. So they were just like a red candle, like in Nvidia, for example, one of my core positions. So basically, when the market was just cracking down here, Nvidia didn't see any further plunge on price, but they just held right there. That shows you strength. By the way, I'm holding a position on Nvidia, and you can see it beautifully, just holding up here and setting up. Just look at that price action, the move from down here all the way up, and it's working on the right side. So I wouldn't be surprised if I see it breaking right above here. And so many, like if you do some due diligence, you will find some other leaders that didn't crack. That tells me that how the state of the market is, and we're still bullish, All right, without further ado, let's jump into some stocks. Some of them are good for swing trading, for holding long term, not investment, but just swing trading. Some of them are just power play. First one is TPK. I love this one, but it has earnings. I just hate them, man. When they just have earnings coming up and they give you that beautiful setup. Look at that. Look at the flag right there, man. Right beneath that resistance. Just keep that in mind. Beautiful. It's TPK. So I'm just watching basically for a breakout right above here. I can get in here quickly, but I just don't like the if it had like a 3 weeks or so like that, a month or over a month, man, looks appetizing for me, especially with that volume drying up down here. Look at the move up here with that green bars. Look at that volume right there, and immediately you see two down, really low volume in there. So that's flagging right there. Actionable if it wasn't gonna have any earnings coming up. MARA. Beautiful level. This one on April's earnings coming up. So basically what I'm watching is just right that level to the high, that candle 24.18. If the stock is giving you issues and you'd like to see what's happening, I mean, I always look at I discussed this in one of my videos before. I don't like just to keep to give what I'm watching. I like to have like an educational video for those who just started trading, or just to share my thought on what I'm looking at. So I hate as much as I'm just want to give names of stocks and what can move. I like them to be more educational. So I said before, the stock, I like to watch the stock cycles, like basically when the stock goes consolidating for a while. So I always watch this, and then the stocks move up or break out, and then stock will do its cycle. It can keep going up for a while. So you have first base, first, second, and then third, and then the stock will either stall right at the fourth cycle, right in here. Either it will make a move up, break out again, or it will start breaking down. So I'm always watching this when I'm looking at the stock, along with other criteria, So it started to extend it, and its stock already did a couple of moves, like fourth pullback. I'll be more careful. So the stock moved, basically, you can see it here. Down here, we had a breakout at a $5 level, and then there's the first pullback to the 8 exponential. Beautiful volume comes in, and you got your second pullback bouncing, finds support right at the 21. Another key level, another key to watch here is look at the volume on the move up, and then the way down. It's classical, you see these bars, red volumes are going down. Why is that? There's no more sellers. And then you have pick up on volume again, on green volume, that's an indication of the buyers are stepping in again. And then you'll see that the stock had a temporary resistance right at that level. So you have it, you see a stock that had a resistance here at that level, 24.18, let's say 24.20 for the sake of the price action, and then it hits it here and it pulled back. And then after that, you don't see a reaction from that level. Actually, you see the stock just holding for 2 days. So if it would have been weak, you'll see a bounce from the stock from that area level. So let's drop it down to the hourly. You'll see that the stock is still holding that level, and you can see a gap got filled here, right on the side, and then it's still holding, and it's working on its higher lows right in here. So going back to the daily, you'll see once it start cracking, in my opinion, again, this is not a buy or sell signal. Just so you know, guys, you gotta do your due diligence. I'm just sharing with you my thought, what I'm seeing, and I'm interpreting the price action. Starting to break here on decent volume, it might be a potential for the stock to go above higher. Next one is VIV. I love it here. We can argue in both ways here. The stock was setting up for another plunge lower. You know, we can argue both ways, but I'm leaning more toward bullish side. You have this trend down here. The stock wants to take a breather a little bit, and it did consolidate for a while. So the first case is I'm watching this the higher the breakdown candle and the high that breakdown candle. So basically, if you see that, it could be like an ABCD pattern, like an A, and the stock goes sideways like that for a little while, and then it can break down. Sometimes it does go back up. Instead of that energy being released to the downside, it could be released to the upside. So that's the downside. So the stock could go sideways and then break down. But like I said, I'm leaning toward more the bullish side. So you ask me why, I'm moving to the monthly, and you're like, what are you looking at the monthly here? You know, you have a trend. Is anything wrong with the chart? There's nothing wrong with the chart. Looking bullish above all moving averages, moving down to the weekly. Look at that beautiful tightness right below that, the higher that breakdown candle. And then you go into the weekly, and I mean the daily, I'm sorry, you watch and the stock start making higher lows. So it means the buyers are stepping in right on these areas and start supporting the stock. And it's building energy actually right below, and you can see the stock on that day, on these days previously, it started, you can argue with me that the stock had some resistance right at that area, and then trying to challenge the higher that level on this day, came back, now we're pushed back. Now for me this is actionable here, just to get in with small possession, put your stop loss right below here or here, whatever. But it looks pretty good, pretty decent. That's VIV. A stock that I talked about actually last week, KBH, and I said we looked at it in the monthly, and it said beautiful breakout on volume on the monthly. That's huge. And then this week, and I did say that I'll watch the stock once what it wants to do when it comes close to this 21, and you can see beautifully bounce on that resistance level, and then moving down. It went down a little bit on the first hour of the day, Friday, which is yesterday, and then it just ended up closing higher. That's bullish for me right there, actionable right there. Sometimes when I put a sign on them like that, those are actionable. You put your stop loss right there. KBH, DBX. This is really interesting. I found this it was like 2 days ago. This is a new IPO. Let's look at it on the monthly to see what's happening. Let's have a clean chart. So new IPO, he's one of the keys that it did. Usually most of the winners, sometimes most of them, they will undercut their recent low, which is this one it did, and then it found support right at this area. Support is not our discussion here, but it did undercut that low right in this area. So that I've seen that happen before, and I've seen some people that they know better than me, they discuss that. And then moving back to the weekly, look at this downtrend here. Let's take this one out. On that, let's watch that line right there. You have this, and you have that, and you get basically, you get rejected on you get rejected from that level. Here, not a little bit, and here you got a little bit of rejection, and then the stock comes in with volume and getting supported. Stock got rejected and used that downtrend as a support, and bounced right back. What I want to share with you is if I pull back, if I pull over here DBX, and I want you to watch the sales. I don't pay too much attention to the APS as much as I do to the sales. Look at the sales on look at the sales on this beast, man. It's been consistently on an uptrend. Beautiful. And still, even though the sales are really continuously, even though actually during the pandemic on February the 25th, which is basically here, it gapped up here and then dropped down, and then nothing happened actually to the sales. That's why it's always as classical as people previous before me, they said that you always want to see the reaction to the earnings, not the earnings themselves. It's not what I think, it's what the market thinks. So the market tanked in here regardless of the sales revenue, and then market found the resistance right on that blue line that I drew here. This is a trading view platform, by the way. And then continuously the stock pushing those revenues up high, and then here it did actually decided to break that uptrend, came back, used it as a support twice. So one here went up, came back, and then breakout on volume, boom, right there. That's huge. And then they have actually earnings coming up on the 18th. So that's kind of interesting. Stock is good, it's holding. It could be, I'm thinking this could be the beginning of a potential good uptrend. And the reason for that, like I said, the revenue were good. Now you have here you have like a change in sentiment on the stock. It looks like probably hedge funds are starting putting some interest, especially the stock is on technology service, data processing services. So what catch me is the breakout of this downtrend, the blue one, came back, used it as support twice, and you see volume right that day, huge volume comes up, consolidation in price in this 3-4 days in a week, and then pushed back. And look at Friday how we closed strongly, even though we didn't pass, we didn't close above the high of that candle, but still that's positive for me. Really actionable on the 18th. So they have earnings. So looking at it here, you can see the idea. So beautiful. You can see even actually higher lows right in this area. So that attracts my attention there. Just want to share with you. DBX, that was DBX. Next one is DHI. DHI had earnings coming up on April, so I believe these ones, they just released their earnings. We're looking at the weekly, beautiful base. Stock comes in here and it broke out. It did actually broke out, even though I don't like to get them when they break out like that, extended like that. When they go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we're not making any pause. But actually, what struck me here when I was watching it, when it came back, and then on these days right here, so it kind of the buyer supported it, and then it kind of took a pause, and then boom, it broke that same level again. I think this is actionable here. That's DHI. NLS, they have earnings coming up on 2nd. I put it on my watch list. I like the setup, the fact that we came in on volume here, This would have been entry for me, but I was watching the gap here, so I already know the reaction of the stock. It could have just went through the yellow line, its previous resistance. If I go back to the monthly, you see it. This is the previous, even though we have like a resistance way up here. I'm just looking at the recent one, which is this level right here. Going back to the daily. So what happened? We broke. I like to translate too much of the price action, see what's underneath, you know, along with the volume. So we broke out this ascending triangle on volume, filled that gap here, challenged the previous highs, pulled back, and then what I'm watching now is I want to see stock comes back and start closing below. I mean, start to close above these highs. I mean, what I mean by these highs is you can see here, right at that level, and you can see that. So stock still holding using this area as support, resistance becomes support becomes resistance. So that's what I'm watching. Stock starting to close on the green days. That will be actionable. That's NLS. Next one was FUBO. FUBO earnings coming up. If I push this back to the daily, I mean on an hourly, you will see where resistance is. Because if I sometimes when I look at it on a daily like that, it's hard to pull out. Okay, so it's hard to figure out where the resistance is. What is my entry point? What is that pivot that I'm going to trade against? So if here, it was a good entry right in here. I got in actually right there on 33 something. I got a little late. This would have been a great entry point right here with a huge pickup in volume right there. I didn't like the volatility when the price dropped so bad. I made good money on it, but it dropped so bad, so I didn't like that. Now I'm watching the price action here, and I drew this orange line as a resistance point. How did I get that? Going back to the hourly, break it down, and you see the stock consolidated on the way down here a little bit, and it dropped. Came back, hit that area level right there. Came back again, almost close to it right there. If I were to see the stock start breaking and closing above that level, you bet what the stock could do. It could power more higher. FUBO. UPST. Beautiful. New IPO. I wonder what this stocks do, but to be honest with you, most of the time I don't even know what they do. I just look at the price action. I don't want to trade them. It's basically technology services. Yeah, software services. I would like to see a break and close above that area. Let's see the hourly. You have VCP patterns here. Volatility contracted, so you can see it. It went from that. That's the volatility. Now it's like half of it down here. Seller's almost gone, and then stock just broke. Now we're pulling back, so resistance becomes support. Now you want to see start on break and close above this high here, or coming back, or making some sideways action, starting to break up high. Sometimes they don't even like do that. Sometimes just like poof, they just break like on a crazy day. So you have to watch it almost like a day trading. And that happened to me when I was looking at YSG. I was like, because I don't like to get in right on a huge candle because there's so much risk. Like if you get in here, I mean, what are you going to put your stop loss? I saw it next day and I said, okay, that's at least you can have some discount. And then next day, man, it just went up like 15%. I was just laughing. MTLS stock, I was watching it on Friday yesterday to close above, but right at the end of the day, it just failed, man. Look at that, boom, 10 minutes. Even though I don't look at 10 minutes, but boom. So I didn't like that. I'm watching a close above like that level again. On the hourly, you can see where resistance was. So it hits it once here, tried to broke it, but it came back, got rejected, came back here, rejected, came back here, rejected. But you notice how the buyers are stepping in and letting that, and they don't let the stock drop so much. On the watch list, we'll see if it kind of break and close on a green day above there. Stock looks good actually on a weekly. Yeah, see it? You have a breakout, another breakout, and then a consolidation. 1, 2, 3, 4, usually 5 to 6 good numbers, and then continue the move. So that's a watch list. Ride. Beautiful support on the stocks on these areas. I was gonna get in right at that day, but I said I want to give the stock a little more room. But yeah, the lower that candle, breaking and closing below that low candle, that would be a no-go. So yeah, keep it in a watch list, watching that area right between those two brown lines. It could be a good actionable point. REZI. This one have earnings coming up. Rezi, let's see what kind of industry is this? Commercial services. It's building energy basically right the previous high right in here. You can see the stock flushed on the day when the market dropped, but here's the thing, you have a rebound right back in and it just went sideways. That's an indication of the stock still wants to move to the upper side, but you want to wait. You can wait for a confirmation, or depends on your style. But again, earnings coming up on the 25th. That's what you want to read actually. So the stock dropped down. Did it stay below the low, that red candle? And it could indicate that the stock is low, wants to move lower. But here it just bounced right back up and then went sideways. Filled the gap in here. Let's move on to the hourly. See what happened. Went up, filled the gap here, this level, and then started going just sideways. So now you want to watch the high, that breakdown candle, which is a level of an entry point. So right there, see, right that level. Rezi, man, I got so many. I don't know if I keep going, man, it's gonna be like an hour-long video. But I hope you guys get some of it. Move on really quick. I got like another like 10 stocks. Plug was pretty good as far as the price action. I don't know when they're gonna have their earnings. Let's see on trading view here. March 11th. March the 11th. What I like about it is that the stock is basically just flagging, so there's no sellers. You don't see profit takers. What does that mean? That the whoever's holding it, they believe that the stock could still bounce higher. You know what I'm saying? Look at the dry volume in here. Look at the volume on the way up, and look at the volume when the stock is consolidating. That's an indication. Those are the things that you want to add so you can build up the conviction when you're trying to get into a stock. Looking at it in the weekly, beautiful, just holding right up there. So there's no, this reminds me of Tesla, like when it went way up here and then now it went up and then it reversed right back up when it started cracking, when the market was cracking, and just holding. It's building a base, so you want to watch that as well. Those are signs of strength. I think the same thing here with the Neo, I believe. Almost, yeah. It is building energy on a lower volume down here, so you want to keep those in. Zoom was one of them that I think it's getting to a bottom here. I got into the stock right here, got flushed. I got my stock, got a tight stop right below here. I got out and he reversed the stock before it even really fill that gap down here. And I did discuss this last week on my one of my videos. I said when the stock is going down, usually the 65 or the 50 moving average will act as a resistance. And look what happened right here. It did act as resistance, got rejected, but not as much. You know, the stock basically just held right below the 65. And then look what happened Friday. Boom. So this could be the beginning of the bottom of Zoom. So here reversal could be really, really great. I thought about it in here. I'm like, I'll just wait a little bit. So that was Zoom. NVCR is a good one. Building a base, earnings coming up, beautiful. And we'll always talk about, look at that, look, when the stock dropped, It just goes right back up and then it just goes sideways. Those are things you want to watch. Chewy, I said watch the 21 bounce. Here's your almost like cup and a handle in here in this area. He had a breakout. Stock really moved quite well, pulled back, held the 21. Most of the stock they do really, if they are strong, they will hold that 21, and you can use that as an entry point, or as a good risk reward ratio. And I said watch the 21. I think I said it back here. It's still acting well. Chewy. Some of the power plays I liked in the look at that, just holding up there, even though we had a really great move. Stock was like $4, now it's 14 for like 2 months, 3 months, 2.5 months. I'm watching that level. And then the ICLK flag, all you see is a flag. I missed it right here, man. I missed it. But hey, there's always not a stock. What else? CMRX. Was this a drug? I don't do drugs. I got stinged a couple times, but this could be actionable, I think, right here. Anytime they can flip on you, man. I mean, any stock usually can flip on you, but drugs, they have that more potential to they can release any statement, FDA, whatever, and the stock will plunge on you 20-30%. Yeah, right here really is good. I like it there. CMRX, CMBM, beautiful, actionable day. Earnings coming up. See, that's what I said. Always when they give you that right, man, they give you the right entry point right when the earnings are coming up. I think it's on the 10th, maybe. Yeah, on the 10th. Earnings coming up on the 10th. CMBM. This was GHO. Another automotive industry. Stock is flagging. What else? Cree. Look how the stock. You have a base here. I like to know what am I? Is this? So when I look at the stock, I like to see am I far away from the base? Is this the first pullback? Is this second pullback? So I like to be aware of what I'm at. I don't want to be late on the last pullback, because most of the time you're not get as much of it. So it looks like this my stock really had a good run from 74 to 124. So that's the first run, and then get a pullback to the 65. Beautiful bounce. Even though I do like I get in sometimes a lot on the 65, on the 50 when they pull back on them. I like to look at the monthly, see what I'm at. Nothing meatless over there, but weekly you had a base, and then first run, then we do want to first pull back. You can call these a mini pullbacks in here, right in here. Yeah, but stock reversed right back on the 65. Now it's going sideways. What is it doing? It's just building energy for a potential pop higher. That's Cree. Team, beautiful. Same thing, making that right handle right below it. Look at the pop. Look at the pop on the way when we reverse from that 65, and then look at the volume again. Those are the indication that adds up to your tools to give you the conviction to see whether the stock is really bullish or is it bearish. That looks bullish for me. Base almost over base. ODFL. I think they just released earning recently. Beautiful base, beautiful. Higher lows. All it weighs just a breakout. Beautiful, beautiful. That's all I can say. What else I have? NET, Cloudflare, beautiful. You have earnings coming up again next week. Beautiful. Support. I mean, its stock is nothing wrong with it. It's beautiful. I'm just waiting for a breakout. But hey, you want to wait for it, or you can get in, or what? Earnings coming up. I usually wait for the signal sometimes, especially right before earnings. It can jump way up higher, so let it be. I'm not gonna chase it. COP. This one got hit real bad, especially when it broke out up here, and that got me concerned when actually it started breaking below the previous low right in here. I put a buy on it right in here, but stock really came heavy when the market got tanked. and then you can see the reversal. That's why I say sometimes, although if the stocks just crush on you and you like it, you know, just put it in a watch list, see what's going to happen. That actually gives you more conviction to buy it if the stock, let's say this one crushed, right? And then here we started making lower highs and lower lows, right? But the stock made tremendous recovery and retested this downtrend. Now if the stock pulled back a little bit here, started making some sideways action, started breaking this downtrend, that could be a good entry, you know. So just, you never know. You see that now this one has been eliminated, that candle on the weekly. So you had a breakout here, this one took it out, and then this one again engulfed the high, so it closed above the high at 347. The market, the stock closed at 351. So hey, that's a good one that tells you that the stock wants higher. Yeah, so that was in watch. Netcoop, ODFL. I got a bunch of them, but I don't want to make this video too long. It's already been long, 30 minutes. Let's see if I can add one more. UAVS, CMRX, Beam, right? Yeah. Alright, I don't want to make it too long. I hope you guys get some of it. Give me a thumbs up if you like it, if you're the first time watching the video. And if you guys got any questions, you can put them in a comment. I'll answer as much as I can. I'll give as much as I help as I can give you. Like I said again, I don't like to put this videos just to give a watch list. I like them more educational. You can see me explaining sometimes what's the price action. That's what I like the most, more than just put a watch list. All right, guys. See you next time. Take care. Bye bye.